Welcome everyone to the Global Business Update with TA. 7 business stories from around the world to keep you updated so that you can enhance your game in the world of business. Starting off with the African continent, Nigeria's vast oil reserves has been the source of great wealth, but at the same time, it has also fostered a lot of poverty and conflict. But as the whole world is looking to move away from fossil fuel, looks like Nigeria is heading upstream. Nigeria plans to triple their oil production over the next few years, and they have even cut back some of the taxes levied on the energy companies. Looks like the move away from fossil fuel globally might have to wait for a little bit longer. Meanwhile, we see a great shift of the world towards being a more middle class oriented economy globally, and Asia, well, it's said to be spearheading this movement. More than 1 billion Asians are set to move into the middle class, which is around $10 to $100 income per day, and it looks like the key Asian economies which are spearheading this movement is Indonesia, Bangladesh and Pakistan, with Indonesia being the leader and with more than 75 million people from the country expected to shift into the middle class. Bad news for the Hollywood box office industry. Well, it looks like the revenues are strongly down by more than 75% in USA for this year, and this comes in the wake of so many movies, blockbuster movies, expected to getting shift towards next year. For example, Mission Impossible is already shifted to the next year, and even the sequel to Top Gun, which is due to be released this year, is also shifted to the following year. Even the Bond movie, the 25th anniversary movie, which is expected to be a stellar hit, there are rumors that that might not get released this month as expected and get moved over to 2022. Not a good time for the Hollywood industry. The Global Business Travel Association, meanwhile, has given a bit of a gloomy picture about the future of business travel around the world. From a pre-pandemic high of around $1.43 trillion, it's expected to drop to around $1.2 trillion by 2024, and this decline is expected to continue. Keep in mind, premium seats or the premium classes of airlines accounts for about 12% of their total seats and sales, but it is accounting for about 75% of the profitability. And with the pandemic's impact still not being exactly clear, with lockdowns and travel restrictions still persisting, and the world getting used to Zoom-based meetings and business discussions, the exact impact of the business travel is yet to be seen. Meanwhile, the Olympics may be over, but some of the innovations we have seen during this time's games are just starting to trickle down into the markets. Nike, Adidas, Puma, some of the top shoe brands which are on a race to be fitting super shoes into the feet of athletes and even average people like you and I. That's right, some of the new innovations that have been tried out, such as special spikes, a more spongier form of the shoe which gives a better limb support when walking or running. These kind of innovations is what the market is now craving for. And in fact, with such innovations coming in, it's expected to drive the footwear industry, especially the sportswear footwear industry, into the future. Now, have you ever struggled to get signal on your phone? Have you been running around with your phone trying to look for some mobile signals, or those bars as we call it? Well, the next time that happens, if you have an Apple iPhone, you might just be lucky. Apple is trying out the use of satellite features where Apple iPhone users will be able to send SOS messages using a satellite connection in case the mobile signals are not available. This could be the start of converting an iPhone into virtually a satellite phone. But to what extent the usage will be allowed and to what extent its commercial usages are allowed is yet to be seen. On a final note, we have repeatedly discussed about the impact of hacking. Well, looks like hacking and a hacker force is China's new weapon of choice. Every time a government says something to antagonize them or breaks ties with them, there seems to be an army of cyber terrorists or an army of cyber attackers targeting that particular country. Now, some of this information only comes quite late, but Australia has recently come forward and said that last year, when their incumbent Prime Minister Morrison mentioned that there should be a separate independent investigation into the origins of how COVID-19 came into being, At that moment, there were massive attacks on the Australian infrastructure. Various government systems were attempted to be hacked. Although China denies any involvement, many of the investigation of some of those attacks clearly points out to Chinese origins. Well, the next time a government gets into a fight or a tussle with the Chinese government, the first thing they have to watch out for might be their cyber systems. That's it for this week. And no matter what business you may be in, stay safe and have a profitable week ahead.